Well, George, this is a video of my little studio that I have in a bedroom in my house. Um, as you can see, it's kind of full. But here is Martin Luther King's life-size head that I'm working on. That will be we'll make a mold for it probably tomorrow if I finish. Um, and he's 5'7", so and so in this picture I think he's probably about 5'8" or 5'9" with the hat. Um, that Martin Luther King in the background, that's when I did, that's been almost 30 years ago. So I think I'm starting to grow at this sculpture. I'll show you kind of the rest of my little studio. I'm always working on something. My biggest deal now is the evolution of Black America, and that's really what this right here is all about. Um, let's see, and I have just this is my room and it's full. I mean, I can hardly get anything else in this room, but I thought I'd send you a video and so here it is. And so here's one of my favorite saying up here with Martin Luther King. Somebody paid the price for your right. Register to vote. You have a nice day, and pass this on if you can. Bye.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here this afternoon for an exciting day, exciting announcement in our city. I'm here alongside Porter Williams, local artist, Kellen Boyce with the Sioux Falls Arts Council, and Andy Patterson with our Sioux Falls Development Foundation to formally memorialize a gift to the city of Sioux Falls of Martin Luther King statue, which we'll be dedicating officially in January. This has been in the works for a little while. Porter and I have been talking about this since I got into office, and I remember seeing this at Juneteenth. I think was the first time I saw this when you had this on display and were showing it to me. And so what we're here today to announce is that this gift from the city, as well as from the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation and the Arts Council, is going to help get this project finished, bronze, and dedicated on Martin Luther King Day on January 2020. So about a month from now, we'll be standing outside in the freezing cold dedicating this. So we'll pray for some good weather by then. We're going to be dedicating this statue in Van Epps Park. Van Epps Park has been rejuvenated over the last several years thanks to the work of the city and the Sioux Falls City Center, which is now where we house a lot of our city offices, Parks and Rec, Public Works, others. And that location and that ground is very close to where Dr. King actually stayed when he was in Sioux Falls in 1961, when he was a guest of St. John Baptist Church. Porter played an instrumental part in making sure we actually got a historical marker near that area, commemorating that visit to Sioux Falls. And the pose of Dr. King here is actually very similar to one that you would have seen in the paper that day, shortly after his visit. And so there's a lot of history. It's not just a random pose. It's not just a random location. It's all kind of coming together, and it will come together when we bronze this puppy and get it cast and placed on January 20. So I want to thank Porter. Porter's been a strong advocate for the arts in our city. We've worked with Porter on several different projects. This is an important one for the city. It's going to be probably one of our signature pieces in the Van Epps Sculpture Garden, which we hope to have more sculptures placed in that area in the years to come. And so with that, I would like to turn the mic over to Porter to make a few remarks about the partnership and the work on the piece. So Porter, thanks for being here, man.
This piece of mine has been in my mind for, I don't know, probably for the last 10 or 15 years. And Finally, it's I just couldn't do enough for Martin Luther King. You know, I'm an old man, but I come out of the Jim Crow era of time, and I know what Martin Luther King did for Black America. There's nobody who did more for Black America, in my mind's eye, than Martin Luther King. And so he holds just a special place in my heart. At the time when I was young, I really didn't understand his method. As a matter of fact, I didn't go along with it. I had a different ideology than he did, but his worked. I wished I was more like him than the way I was at the time. But Martin Luther King is really special to me.
All right, we're also honored to have Kellen and Andy here as well. Kellen Boyce is the director of the Sioux Falls Arts Council. And as mentioned, Sioux Falls Arts Council and the Community Foundation are providing half of the funding for this project. City of Sioux Falls is providing the other half. And so I want to thank them for that contribution to the arts, as you guys do. And want to let Kellen say a few words. So.
Yeah, my name is Kellen Boyce. I'm here with the Sioux Falls Arts Council. And yes, I actually just came in on this project, but I was honored to talk to Porter through the Visual Arts Commission, where I sit on that commission, and was introduced to this project several months ago. It's just a real honor to be able to be a hand in this, to make these kind of things happen, and to make Porter's dream of having the statue out to the public a reality. So we're just very honored to be a part of this and to help facilitate through the grant for the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation. So, thank you.
Thanks, Kellen said to me in the back, she's like, well, I just came in on this project, you know, a few months ago. And I said, listen, that's leadership. You take the credit, you take the blame when you take the role. So this is one of the fun days we get to help take credit for something. So Andy Patterson with the foundation has also been a huge arts champion through several of their funds, several of their donors. They've contributed real heavily to our arts community. This is another good example of that. And so, Andy, if you have a few words on remarks to the foundation, we'd welcome those. So.
Appreciate it. Well, I'd just say it's a real privilege for the Community Foundation to get to be a part of a project. So, Porter, thank you for what you're doing. On behalf of the board and the Grants Committee, and I'm happy one of our Grants Committee members, Harriet Yoakum, is here. We were really excited to get to be a part of this, and no small part of that was a local artist who's been so instrumental in this community for so long. So, Porter, we congratulate you on your work and are thrilled to get to be a part of it. So, thank you.
All right, and with that, we'll wrap it up and take some questions, just kind of to put an exclamation point on it. We'll be getting back together hopefully on January 20, which is Martin Luther King Day. If all the bronzing goes as it should and the piece comes out to Porter's high standards, we'll be placing that on January 20 and having an official dedication in the park at that time.
Next item, item 51, a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota approving the placement of a sculpture on public property. Martin Luther King.
Good evening, Chairman Selberg, City Councilor Sioux Falls, Russ Sorensen again with the City of Sioux Falls Planning Office. This evening I have the sculpture artist Porter Williams and Lisa Meyer with Bronze Age Art Casting for this item as well. For your consideration tonight is a resolution which is to approve the placement of a sculpture known as Martin Luther King on public property within the Van Epps Park. The Sioux Falls Arts Council, along with the support of the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation and the City, Sioux Falls proposed a life-size bronze sculpture figure to be known as Martin Luther King by artist Porter Williams of Sioux Falls. The bronze sculpture depicts the figure of Martin Luther King standing with an outreached arm and hand, measuring approximately 5 feet 7 inches in height, 3 feet by 3 feet in length and width. The proposed placement for this sculpture will be located on the city-owned property at the south end of the oval lawn sidewalk area within Van Epps Park. The sculpture will be displayed with an informative plaque anchored securely to the existing sidewalk or a quartzite pedestal, accessible to the public, and would be surrounded with landscaping and lighting. Reverend Dr. King is best known for advancing civil rights through nonviolence. What may not be known to many is that Dr. King arrived in Sioux Falls on January 12th in 1961. He was a guest of the nearby St. John's Baptist Church that once was located adjacently north of the current-day Van Epps Park. Dr. King addressed an evening dinner meeting at the Knife and Fork Club at the downtown Cataract Hotel. Dr. King stayed overnight at the church parsonage and spoke with St. John's Church the very next day. There is a Minnehaha County historical marker commemorating Dr. King's visit to Sioux Falls that's placed on the northwest corner of Van Epps Park today. The artist intends to complete the sculpture project by January 20th of 2020, which happens to be Martin Luther King Day, and the sculpture to the city of Sioux Falls, adding it to its city's permanent artwork collection, and it would be included in the city's annual art conservation maintenance program. Both the Visual Arts Commission and the Parks and Recreation Board have reviewed this request and recommend unanimous approval for the sculpture and its placement from their October meetings, respectively. We've not had any public comments received on this sculpture placement request. I know Dr. King had a dream. At this time, I would like to invite Porter Williams, the artist, to the podium to share his artistic dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Come on up.
This here is a model of the piece that will be 5'7", placed at Van Epps Park. You know, this is as being a sculptor for the past 30 years, this is one of the pieces that I really wanted to place in the city of Sioux Falls somewhere, and then I was offered the opportunity to place it at Van Epps Park. And so I'd appreciate it if you'd vote to have this placed in your park. Thanks.
It's beautiful.
And the
Thank you.
completion date, I'd like to call up Lisa from, from Bronze Age Casting, because I believe that the mock-up piece that is 5'7" is being shipped out tomorrow. That's the styrofoam deal, then I'll have to redo it in clay. Set this piece down if it's all right.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Do we have anybody from the public who'd like to speak to the item? Councilors, any questions? Councilor Kiley.
Well, first of all, Porter, thank you very much for your efforts in this project, because I know that you have played a very instrumental role in bringing us to where we are today. Earlier, we talked about suitable person, suitable location. Well, I really feel that this applies. Suitable person, who better than Dr. Martin Luther King to be placed in a very suitable location, a location where he actually visited the city of Sioux Falls many years ago. So I wholeheartedly support this measure.
Thanks, Councilor. Anybody else? All right.
I move to approve this item.
Okay. Motion to approve by Kiley, seconded by Erickson. Any other discussion? Call for a vote, please.
Councilmember Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Brecky? Erickson?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Nitzert?
Yes.
Selberg?
Yes.
Sale?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next item, please.